Here's something that sounds backwards. A person earning $45,000 a year can end up wealthier than someone pulling in $450,000. It's not a typo, and it's not a fluke. Some people can lose everything twice and still die comfortable. Others can win the lottery and die broke. The difference isn't luck, talent, or even intelligence. It's a set of quiet habits nobody posts about because none of them look impressive from the outside. Here's the strange part. The habits that build wealth and the habits that keep wealth are rarely the same ones. Most people spend their 20s and 30s figuring out how to earn more. Almost nobody spends time learning how to hold on to it. That's exactly where fortunes quietly slip away, not in some dramatic crash, but in the ordinary, forgettable minutes of a regular Tuesday. Let's walk through what actually separates the people who stay wealthy from everyone else. 1. They treat every dollar like it already has a job. There's a well-known concept in behavioral economics called mental accounting. The idea that money behaves differently depending on which mental bucket it's assigned to. People who hold on to wealth long-term give every dollar a job the moment it arrives. Rent money isn't grocery money. Investment money isn't vacation money. It sounds almost too simple, but that's the point. Simple systems don't require willpower in the moment temptation shows up. Take someone like an electrician earning solid, unremarkable money. No inheritance, no head start. What separates him from higher earners in his circle isn't a secret investment. It's that a fixed percentage of every paycheck leaves his account automatically before he ever sees it and lands somewhere he can't casually touch. The logic is simple. Don't trust your future self to make the right call in the moment. Remove the moment entirely. 2. They're boring on purpose. People who stay wealthy generally aren't chasing the next hot opportunity, the next coin, the next guaranteed tip from a friend of a friend. This idea echoes something author Bill Perkins explored in Die with Zero. Most people either sit on money they never use or panic spend later trying to make up for lost time without ever finding the middle path. The people who actually keep their wealth aren't swinging for grand slams. They're doing unglamorous, repetitive things for years with no audience and no applause. 3. They actively protect what they have. Staying wealthy isn't passive. Picture a small shop owner who checks their margins every single week, not because they're paranoid, but because they know exactly where the leaks are. Most people don't lose money to sudden bad luck. They lose it to slow leaks. Forgotten subscriptions, hidden fees, a lifestyle that crept up an inch a month until it became a mile. Here's a reframe worth sitting with. Lifestyle creep isn't really a money problem. It's an identity problem wearing a money costume. Every raise comes with a whisper that you've earned the upgrade. People who hold on to wealth learn to hear that whisper and simply not respond to it right away. 4. They let time do the work. There's a well-established idea in finance that a dollar invested at 25 can end up worth roughly double what the same dollar invested at 35 would be, assuming identical returns. The only difference is time. Most people want results now. People who stay wealthy have made peace with a longer timeline, and that patience is worth more than any single lucky pick. 5. They opt out of comparison. The neighbor who upgrades cars every 2 years. The relative who posts vacation photos the same week rent is due. People who keep their wealth long-term have quietly opted out of that entire game. Not because they don't feel the pull, everyone does, but because they've realized looking rich and staying rich are two entirely different games with two different rulebooks. 6. They build their support system before they need it. Most people call an accountant or a mentor only once there's already a crisis. People who stay wealthy build that relationship years in advance. So when a real storm hits, they're not scrambling to find someone to trust. That person already knows their full situation. 7. They measure progress against their past self, not against other people. Compare yourself to a neighbor with a nicer house, and you'll always feel behind. There's always someone with more. Compare yourself to who you were a year or 2 ago, and progress suddenly becomes visible and motivating instead of exhausting. That shift alone is often what keeps people in the game long enough for compounding to actually work. The habit underneath all the habits. Here's the twist. People who stay wealthy aren't actually obsessed with money. They're obsessed with decisions. Money is just the scoreboard. Every financial choice is really a small vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Buy impulsively, and you voted for someone who reacts without thinking. Wait 48 hours instead, and you voted for someone who chooses deliberately. Do that enough times over a decade, and the compounding isn't just happening in a bank account, it's happening in identity. That's the real reason some people stay financially stable through layoffs, recessions, and medical bills that wipe out people around them with much higher salaries. Wealth was never really about the number on a screen. It was about who you quietly became while nobody was watching that number move. The question worth asking isn't, how do I get rich fast? It's quieter than that. What small, boring thing can I do today that my future self will actually be grateful for?